Why is adoption of Bitcoin exploding right now around the world? And the answer is because it solves a problem that people are facing.
Bitcoin is surely solving a lot of problems faced by the people all over the world. For instance, corruption, theft, inflation, incompetence, inefficiencies, speed, privacy, intermediaries, energy, and trust are some of the core problems that are present in the economic world that Bitcoin intends to solve. It's a lot to take on, but the process should be easy, since the bar was quite low to begin with. The systems we've been using for decades are obsolete, inefficient, and corrupt, and these are the reasons why Bitcoin's founder Nakamoto decided to do something about it. According to a report by Nasdaq, Bitcoin adoption surged almost 880% in a single year. Chainalysis, a Singapore-based blockchain data platform, found that Bitcoin usage surged in developing countries as citizens seek shelter from currency debasement. Chainalysis found Vietnam to have the highest cryptocurrency adoption, leading the 154 countries analyzed and scored on a scale of 0 to 1. Second place India scored 0.37, followed by Pakistan with a 0.36 score.
Why is adoption of Bitcoin exploding right now around the world? And the answer is because it solves a problem that people are facing. And if you look at the key things that have happened, the bank system is seized up in the developing world, like in Lebanon and in Turkey and in Afghanistan and Iraq, lots of parts of Africa, lots of parts of South America. When the bank, Cyprus was an example, when the bank freezes, it basically freezes all your assets, and then it converts them from whatever the dollars are to local currency, and then devalues them. So the first driver is people don't trust the banks and they don't trust their local currencies. They're all collapsing. The second driver is the Canadian trucker crisis traumatized hundreds of millions of people, because the message there was, if you're an American citizen, and if the head of another country, Canada, disagrees with your politics, he could just seize your money, take it without a court order, without due process. So you're an American, and a Canadian politician just took millions of dollars overnight from you just because he wanted to. So that caused a bunch of people to think, I can't really trust a politician, and if I have the wrong politics, they'll just take my money.
Yes, guys, the best thing you can do to safeguard your money is to trust your politician. You know I was joking. The United States officially announced a ban on Russian oil imports on March 8, 2022. Following this news, the ruble crashed as low as 130 rubles per dollar and 144 rubles per euro, being worth less than a cent and having lost at least 40% of its value since the start of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. In Ukraine, which is under martial law, the central bank has suspended all currency trading and set a fixed exchange rate of approximately 29 hryvnia to the dollar. It also banned foreign currency withdrawals and most cross-border payments. This will cause limited access to the country's local currency, and people suffered a lot as they were unable to withdraw cash from ATMs, as most of the banks froze and the value of the currency plummeted, which led to a sharp spike in inflation. This led to the irreparable loss of wealth of its citizens.
So the third thing was the Ukrainian war. And then all the banks in Ukraine froze, and people want to get out of the country, or they want to move and they can't get any money, right? And then all the Russian banks froze and the Russian market froze. So you've got 300 million people with a bank crisis, a currency crisis. When that happened, the Russian currency crashed by 30%, and then the Ukrainian, Polish, Hungarian, and Turkish currencies all weakened. So everyone in that part of the world lost anywhere from 3 to 30% of all their wealth. And maybe they lost 3 to 30% forever of what they're going to have. So that's a big panic. Then what happened was the Russian sanctions, where the West basically seized $300 billion of gold and currency derivatives from Russia. And then they started seizing all the property of all the Russian oligarchs. And the mainstream media view is, yeah, we should do that, right? They're spoils of war. But the United States never declared war on Russia. So this is an example of one country not at war with another country, where citizens of the one country are having all their property seized by other countries without due process immediately. And so that means that everyone that has any assets anywhere in the world that thinks they might ever be in opposition to any politician anywhere else in the world is feeling very insecure about their property rights. Okay, so who might be concerned? Well, you start with the Chinese. They have $3 trillion worth of currency derivatives. So if they invade Taiwan, they lose 3 trillion. Or maybe if they just get in a diplomatic dispute over the South China Sea. So then you have the Emiratis and you have all the Middle Easterners, and you have all the Africans, you have all the Asians and the Kazakhs, and you have all the South Americans. Everybody feels insecure about their assets. And so if you feel insecure, who can you trust? And if you can't trust your local currency, and if you can't trust your local bank, and if your building and sports team and boat and company stock is going to be seized because it's international, and everybody has international somewhere, right? If that's the case, then you think, what do I do? And the answer is, first of all, I get my money out of the bank. And so I would take my dollars out of the bank and I'd buy crypto dollars like Tether or some stable coin. And then I want custodianship of it. I want a custody. I want to hold it on my own phone. Because if you had your money, if you had $10 million in Lebanon before the crisis in the bank, you lost it all. And if you had the $10 million on a crypto device, you're still rich. You still have it all. And so people are opting out of the conventional system. And then, of course, well, what good is it to own a building in downtown Kiev or Moscow, right? I mean, you can't rent the building to anybody, right?
Value of the money is also lost when doing foreign transactions due to exchange rates, countries' economic policy, and transaction fees. According to India Times, Indians paid nearly $263 billion equivalent to their currency in foreign exchanges. The study conducted by Wise, a global technology company, revealed that between 2016 and 2020, the annual amount Indians lost in fees and exchange rate markups increased from Rs 187 billion to Rs 263 billion. Anytime the dollar changes into euro or any other international currency or vice versa, consumers find themselves tangled in a web of hidden exchange rate markups, high fees, delays, and small print.
And it gets us to this issue of human rights. If I give $10,000 to someone in Africa and they have to convert it into the local currency, then the $10,000 is going to be worth $500 in a matter of a few years. Okay, so I can't even give you the money if the currency doesn't work. It's collapsing. So if you put it in a bank, the bank steals it. But the bank won't give you a bank account. I mean, most people, there's 3 billion people that can't get a bank account even if they had the money. But if they did get the bank account, someone in Africa can't very well be buying a diversified portfolio of big tech stocks that trade on the NASDAQ. You can't physically buy it. So if you have some money, tell me, what do you want to own in Africa that you think is higher quality than owning your house in Maryland or Virginia? Like, what do you want to own? Like what? Nothing, right? So there's nothing you can buy, right? Okay, buy a bar of gold, carry that around, and someone with a machine gun shoots you and takes the gold, unless you go through an airport and they just take it. So how do I actually preserve my economic wealth if I'm one of the 3 or 4 billion people in these countries where you can't trust the currency, you can't trust the government, you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust the bank? And the answer is, I download an application to an Android phone, and I put some digital dollars like stable coin, and I put some Bitcoin, some digital property on it, and I don't tell anybody I have it. And if I need to flee the country, I could take it with me. If they're going to seize my phone, I could just memorize it, and I walk out of the country remembering 12 words, and I keep my wealth. And if I need to send it if I live in America and my loved one is in Nigeria, and I want to send them money the conventional way, it takes weeks. There's a 10% fee. And when they go to get it from the bank, someone robs them. On the other hand, I can just put money in a Lightning wallet on a Sunday afternoon, and in 30 seconds, zap it to them friction-free for nothing. And they don't, and I cut out the banks, and I cut out the robbers, and I cut out the crappy currency and the money changers. Right. There's a reason that Jesus Christ, right? What is it when he goes into the temple and he runs out the money changers, right? He's like, you guys are ripping off the people.
Bitcoin is hailed as the instrument of economic empowerment for the people who believe. Otherwise, their lives would be hopeless if this technology doesn't prevail.
If you live anywhere in the developing world, you're probably losing 10% of your money on transfer, just in remittance payments. That's each time it moves. And then you lose 20, 30% of it a year to inflation, unless you're losing 60% a year to inflation.
Okay,
So it's a human rights issue. And people that like Bitcoin think this is an instrument of economic empowerment for billions of people whose life is hopeless without this technology.
According to the authors of the book Bitcoin Revolution, the blockchain is an incorruptible digital ledger of economic transactions that can be programmed to record not just financial transactions, but virtually everything of value.
No, actually, that's what makes it immortal and incorruptible, right? The Bitcoin mining process is the process of taking raw electricity and then encrypting it with the SHA-256 algorithm. So it's encrypted energy. You're digitally transforming the energy using a semiconductor chip, which they call a Bitcoin miner.
When asked about if Bitcoin mining would become carbon neutral, Saylor said Bitcoin mining is the cleanest and most efficient energy use in the world. In December 2019, one report suggested that 73% of Bitcoin's energy consumption was carbon neutral, largely due to the abundance of hydropower in major mining hubs, such as Southwest China and Scandinavia. In a recent interview conducted by FTX, Brian Brooks, CEO of Bitfury, said, "The amount of energy that it takes for Bitcoin to produce $1 billion worth of value is significantly less than the amount of energy it takes for something like an airline to produce $1 billion worth of value."
The most important thing about mining is it's the cleanest, most efficient energy use in the world. I mean, this is the cleanest industry in the world. Many people don't realize that. That's because most of the ESG FUD is spread by other crypto network entrepreneurs that are using it as guerrilla marketing. So they would want you to think that there's an issue. But if you thought about it for a while, you would realize that, let me just give you the facts. Bitcoin mining uses 14 basis points of the world's energy. So like 0.1% of all the energy in the world is Bitcoin mining. It's really de minimis. Second, it's going to decrease. It's headed toward 1/100th of 1%, because the semiconductor technology has improved by orders of magnitude. So it's just like Moore's law. We keep making the chips faster. So as companies like Intel, they just released a chip that's 21 joules per terahash, and it used to be we used 1,250 joules per terahash. So it used to be 100 times more energy intensive to mine. So the industry itself is a technology business getting exponentially more efficient. But if you look at the electricity used is 58% sustainable already, which means that is cleaner than the electricity in your Tesla, or it's cleaner than all the energy used in planes, trains, automobiles, buildings, food, hospitals, national defense, banking. Every other thing in the world uses dirtier energy and more energy. So if you're really an environmentalist, and I told you, that 99.95% of carbon emissions come from stuff that's not Bitcoin. And Bitcoin energy efficiency is improving 36% a year. So it's neither the problem, nor is it the solution to any environmental concern. What it is an industry that uses encrypted energy in order to create an open, permissionless crypto asset, so that it is ethically, technically sound.
Computers that mine Bitcoin are 58 times more efficient than they were 8 years ago, according to a report by the Bitcoin Mining Council. As adoption for Bitcoin and blockchain technology as a whole continues to grow, and the industry is working hard towards energy-efficient and cleaner mining processes, the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies will steadily grow in the upcoming years. Comment your thoughts down below and what you think will be the future of Bitcoin and other stablecoins. Until next time.